Hello YouTube, welcome to my channel. This is my Wells Index milling machine, and I'm having an issue. I got this thing really cheap, really super cheap. Somebody actually just wanted to get rid of it. So I basically didn't pay anything for it. But anyway, the person that was getting rid of it and didn't know anything about it, they tried to move it, and when they I guess they used a forklift or something else, and anyway they dropped the whole mill on this side. And what broke was, let's see if I can find some pictures of it, or what actually broke was the handle for the quill. That broke. The handle on this side, everything here got destroyed, the plate and everything else. I was able to get another plate from Wells Index. They're actually still in business. But let me grab this. Let me grab some of these pieces and show you what I got here. Yeah. Basically, this is like the handle. This is some of the handle here. They're big, round, heavy. Oh, just dropped that. They're big, round, heavy handles. Anyway. This one got destroyed in like several pieces, as you can see. You know, it held up pretty good, but it couldn't take it. Anyway, so most of the damage that actually happened with this thing is right here. So at the end of the table, the screw, the lead screw part here, it actually has a little bend to it. So basically, if I turn it on, you'll see what I'm talking about. Now, I don't know if you can see that in the video, it jumping up and down. Try to get it this way. So, I don't know if you can really see that. Probably not great with my camera. But anyway, if I was to put my Mituyu thing on here, turn this guy on, lock this here. All right, so let's try to get it where it's yeah, let me get it right around. Where's the adjustment here? Is that the adjustment? All right, let's zero that guy out. All right, so let's see if you guys can see that or not. Try to go in closer. It's probably easier to read on the camera, you know. I'll chase my tail all day trying to get a zero. Yeah, well, okay, so I got lucky. Anyway, so now as you watch, when I hit the feed, you'll probably see it jump up a little better. And that's my problem. That's what's happening, as you can see it jumping up and down. So I came to the conclusion, obviously something's bent over on, push back a little bit more. Something's obviously bent on this end here. I've seen a lot of people, they use, you know, flame, acetylene torch, or, you know, torches to like cut through and stuff like that, but they'll put a lot of heat on it, cool it real fast. I've seen other people just heat it up for a long time on their lathe and get it red hot and cool it. Like, I've seen so many different ways. So I don't know the right way, the wrong way. I did see somebody that I thought was like the best video that I watched with straightening things, and he basically put the flame on there for not even, you know, maybe, I don't know, 5-6 seconds, and then took it right off and soaked it with water. You know, he did like boat props or something like that, boat shafts. So, you know, again, I wouldn't really worry about it, but what I did notice last week was, not only is this thing super loose, as you can see, I can just wiggle it, which I shouldn't be able to do that. So it's loose, and if I try to tighten any, it does bind up on me. It's an issue. It's got a problem, and I think one of the gears inside started grinding a little bit. So I figured I would get into it and take it along and see what happens. Like I said, if it wasn't for this break-in, this thing took a brutal hit. I mean, from what they told me, you know, the whole thing fell on the side and just went down. Again, they didn't really know what they're doing. They didn't turn the head over. They didn't do anything. They just basically tried to lift it up with a forklift, and yeah, it fell right over. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to attempt to try to take this apart and attempt to maybe straighten it with some heat. And I have acetylene. It's about the hottest I got with like a turbo torch. And I'm not sure, um, I actually probably better off using a different gauge to read it because it's going to be hard to read with this thing. But once I take it off, you'll see it'll be a lot more pronounced as far as the bend to it. All right, let's see what we can do here. So let's see if we can get this thing apart, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. It's yeah. And I've had this apart a few times, and every time I went to attempt it, I kind of chickened out on it. Now this handle is a Bridgeport handle, and actually this piece was an extension piece that somebody made up with a little piece of, and you can see there's a little piece of like not even right. It's the keyway is not even the right one, but as you can see the gear, I don't know if you can notice or not, but there's like some discoloration right around there. Overall, it's not bad, but if the key's going like this, it's going to wear. And the other thing I did notice also was that inside here, get down, I can adjust this a little better. If you can see inside here, there's like some shrapnel right around here, a little bit of dirt, just a little bit of a something. So obviously it's grinding, and I don't want to keep it going like this. Otherwise, it's going to end up, not working. So what I'm going to try to do, in fact, it might even be a little more pronounced now with this out. I might be able to show you a little better of what it's doing. Oh, no, I can't because, yeah, because I don't have the gear in there now. Duh. Okay. Well, anyway, I will pull this off next, and I think I was able to turn it. Yeah, I can turn it underneath, so it's not a big deal. In fact, I want to get that other key out of there before it gets damaged. So let me move this back over this way so you can get this key out. There it goes. There it went. But I did see, where'd it go? Somewhere on the ground. All right, find my magnet and I'll find it. Let's take this thing off of here for now. Put that up there. Shut that off. See which Allen key was to take this one out. There's the right Allen key. I mean, they got like 2 bolts holding. I mean, whoever did this originally, I'm sure it was fine. But as you can see, they got like these. See this back in. Out. Like this is the screw they used. There's 2 of them like this. Looks like everything's all hacked up pretty good inside. Or again, maybe this was something that happened before. I don't know. But 2 bolts holding it in. Okay, there's the other bearing. Let's put this guy over here. We don't want to damage that guy. And then we have this. Now you'll be able to see how much more pronounced it is. So I see they have a whole bunch of washers. And this plate. I just dropped one of them. All these shims. And of course the roller bearing in there. Which, I don't know, it just looks like a regular bearing. Alright, nothing really crazy about it. Let me get my, oh, sorry about that. I just hit you guys. Touch you guys a little bit. Alright, this. find that later somewhere. The key dropped somewhere. Yeah, I'll find it. Not a big deal. So anyway, so now you might be able to see it. Now there is some shims in here too. I don't know why they would have these shims in here because they're useless. They're not really doing anything. But from here you might be able to see a little better the move you a little bit here and zoom you up. Turn this guy on. 0. Okay. So now I'll try to move the handle. Okay, so you can already see a little bit this way. So we already go down minus 13. There we go. Okay, so there's the 0 point. I guess I should get the high point, right? All right, it goes all the way up to 13, 0. 13, 14, 15. All right, let's zero it out there. Of course, it's going to zero out to minus 0. All right, so there's 0 right there. All right, that's probably the best way. Okay, so you can see we're out 28, yeah, about 28 thousandths out. So that would be the high, I would imagine. Yeah, then we start going back down. Now, is that the actual, is that the high spot or is that actually the low spot? And of course, this does make a difference. Let me pull that out real quick. So I have one problem here. If I take, because like I said, I've been in here before. Let me put it this way. Just trying to get to a good spot there. Come on, there we go. All right, so we'll start at 0 there. Let's turn this minus 2. Okay, so that's about the highest at 25. Let's mark that. Now, I know it's only bent in one direction, so I guess I should try to find the highest spot and do it from there, right? So go by the that point, I guess, the 25. Try to 0 it again. 26 I got. All right. Okay, so there goes the 28. Goes back down to 0. Okay. So this would be the highest spot right there. I should probably do it up and down actually, right? And it's not going to make a difference, but it's probably better. Oh. Okay, so that's that spot. That's going to be the high right there. Try to zoom in a little bit better here. Okay. Yeah, you can see how it's moving. I mean, and there's the 0 point. That's where it starts moving. So my idea was a few things. Um, what I was going to try to do was heat up the heat it up maybe closer to this area. Now there's a problem here because I have a bearing in here, and if I take this plate off, there's a round bearing that's like in a spot. You know, it's got a cutout for the bearing. If I take this plate off, this whole rod just starts flopping down and hangs down. Now that would be great if because originally what I was planning on doing was I thought, you know what, I'll just take this out, cut it off, drill it and tap it and extend it, you know, with the same length, do the keyholes and be done with it. Until I realized that this thing is like, I don't know, 60 inches long. I don't have anything to put it into. So I have a 10-inch, I have the South Bend Heavy 10, but I don't have the room to push it through because my lathe is basically against the wall. So I can't do it the one way. And now I was thinking, well, if I just turn around the other way, but how am I going to get the center? So I was even thinking about using the mill here, maybe standing it up or something, or trying to turn the head sideways, you know, drill a center hole, cut it, drill it off. But I don't know if I'm going to have luck with that either. So, um, but it's kind of harder to see, I guess, through the camera's lens. I can see it pretty good here where it's loose. Like right now, I can't. I can only move it a hair. That's on the bearing, and of course, as you can see, as soon as I turn it, it just starts going. And my thing is now, if that's the high end, am I hitting it, you know, if I'm going to put the flame here and try to get it down to like, say, like, you know, maybe 15 and cool it and see what happens. I mean, I'm really scared of making this thing worse. I'm not a professional. I don't know what I'm doing, honestly. I've been watching videos about this. But, you know, the other thing I was thinking too is if I can turn down a sleeve maybe, like say like this long, maybe a little bit longer, of the exact inside diameter of this. And then I thought, well, maybe if I just push it on, but I don't, you know, I don't think I have enough of a bend. Like I think the bend is somewhere over here, and it's just lit up because again, this whole thing crashed. Um, so I'm not really sure, and I can't really do anything different with this plate, like I said, because there's a huge bearing that's being held in here, and you know, this is a Vevor power feed. It's not even really made for this, and whoever, you know, put this in there or whatever it is, I guess that's just a plate because what I noticed before is you can't put it against the, it won't go against the plate. It'll hit or whatever it is. And this thing did come with a Bridgeport plate, but again, it's not a Bridgeport. So I think Wells Index makes them, but you know, but yeah. So if I went down with that, see, I can't really bend much on the end. Put a socket inside or something. Even something like this. What's that size? It's a 9/16. See, I guess I'd want to bring it back that way. But like I said, I'm never going to be able to pull anything on that. Um, you know, I won't have enough strength unless I heat it up. Now I'm thinking it's got to go this way, down that way, because that's where I'm centered. Now even if I go on the top part, it's really not going to make a difference. It's still going to be the same thing. Yeah. The only thing it's really probably going to do is heat over here. I guess it would be here, maybe here. I probably want the high spot on the top, or just, yeah, again, put the flame right here. Decisions, decisions, decisions. Now, I mean, I know people heat it up and just let it cool down, and then, you know, again, I don't want to fry the bearing. Well, the bearing's all the way in here. I still have that gauge here. Yeah. So the bearing's in about an inch. So I know the bearing's in farther. Yeah, again, it's not that much, but it's enough that it makes the power feed jump and other things. And like I said, I'm just thinking about which way. All right. The only thing we try to do is the torch. Grab this guy here. This guy up. All right. So yeah, I got a bottle. I have a turbo torch too, but I guess I'll try this part first. Because again, I don't know if I'm doing this the right way or not. Right here. I don't know what happened to my striker there. Yeah, I probably have to go turbo torch because I ain't got much on this thing. I'm actually making it worse. Yeah, now it's up to 30 now. See, my biggest problem is I guess I might have to get a different torch and see which way I'm going here. Actually, it moved a little bit. Now we're at 28. Now the lowest point is, let me see, 5, 4, 3, 2. Yeah, it went to 2. So that part originally was at 0, and now it's at 2. So now if I zero this guy again, this thing's such a pain to try to zero. Okay, so there's 0 again. There's 2. 28, 27, 26. It's actually, when it's cooling down, I guess it's going back down, but it's not. It's still not going reversed. Yeah. So what I'm thinking is I'd want to shoot the heat there, but let me see what it's like on the edge there, on the end. Okay, there's 0. think we're still at the same spots, it seems like. Yeah, it's only this little section there that's bent, and it's right at the end there. And there's really no give in this thing either. All right. Let's try to do this. All right, now it's not really moving. It's getting hot. I think it seems like it's doing, it's going up. But I'm going to try to see if I can try to bend it a little. Well, actually, now it's going down now. Yeah, I'm just letting it dry. Make sure my tip is not hot. Yeah, I'll take it off for a second. Let this cool down a little bit. See, it would have to be like this. Huh? I'd have to kind of bend it like this in a way. Yeah, all I'm going to do is break my wrench. Get a rag with some water here. Let that cool down a little bit. try to put this back up here again. I mean, you might even be able to see it. Probably not, but all right. At least I rubbed my paint off, right? Maybe up a little bit here. All right, we're back to 0 again. So this is supposedly the high side, I think. This was coming in at 28. Yeah. Well, we're getting better. I mean, it is doing something. Question is it enough? Um, you know, if it's not that bad of a wobble, it might be okay. But if it's, you know, a little more than that, I really have no way of grabbing. I'm just going underneath here and just grabbing the whole lead screw because I have no way of. This table's too long for me to go down and turn that all the way. Like, I'm not going to be choosy. You know, beggars can't be choosers, right? I don't need it to be perfect. I just need to stop jumping up and down. End could be a little messed up too. It's only going up to 19, which was not as bad as before. Let me see something real quick out of curiosity. Because I dropped that, I dropped the keyway somewhere. Did I have to find it? Maybe I'll look back on the video and see where it might have dropped to. But, because I figured if that might have done something. Well, let me check it again. Let me see where we're at here. I'll try it one more time. I'll heat it up. Because I know that's what they usually do. Heat it up, cool it down a little bit. So let me get to the high spot again. Which I think was... We're only at 19 now. We were going up to 28, so we're doing something. All right, let's go back up to the 19. Let's try it again. Let's heat it again until we can drop that down a little bit. This might just be working. Again, I am not professional. I'm not a machinist. I'm just giving something a shot here. As you can see, I'm trying to get it right there. Right where I pretty much had my line before. And I'll wait till I get a little bit of smoke out there and I'm going to cool it down again. We'll do another reading. I think maybe I'll try to do my, try to find my turbo torch. Yeah, again, if I can get this in within 10 thousandths, I'd be happy. That's all I'd be happy with, or 1 thousandths. I'd be really happy with it. Just enough that it's not jumping up. I can tighten it, because every time I try tightening it up, you know, I've taken this thing off several times. Every time I tighten it off, it just gets looser on me, and it jumps up and down. And but like I said, I've never really heard of heat. I mean, I've never really seen heat straightening that much, and figured I'd give it a shot. And I know some people, they do it a couple times over and over again. So it's pretty much cooled down now. If I've got any dirt hanging off of it. Get another dry one real quick. Okay. Let's see where we're at now. Now, if I remember, so this should be the high side, I would think, because I haven't moved it. Oh, sorry, I keep getting out of frame here. You guys see that? Not really, I'm at a weird angle. Alright, well, it's showing 0. So I can try to move you over a little bit somewhere here. Yeah, I guess it's just a lot of light there. Alright, anyway, back at the 0 point again. $15, $17, $19, $18. Okay, so we're only up to $19. Although I got to get the high spot again, and maybe it might be more. There's a 1. No, there's a 0. It's definitely not as bad as it was before. Will it be enough? There's only one way to find out, and that would be to put the stuff back on there and see if this will work again. Let me... And it's a lot better, obviously. We're only at 15. Oh no, actually I just moved it. Damn it. Let me try this. 0. All right, there we go. I zeroed it out again. Let's try to move it a little more again. Keep you right on that. I guess there's some light coming in. So that was the high side, or the low side. 17. You know, it's only going to 17 now, and a little bit the other way. Is that? See, I don't know if I'm doing this, if I'm moving this. Let me try centering it again. Yeah, see, now it seems like it's going back up again. Oh, let me see what it looks like. Let me try to do this again. All right, so let's say 22 right there. All right, let's try one more time. Let's heat this guy up one more time right there. I'm gonna get this thing a little red hot. Take that away. Just hold this on there a little bit longer. Let me try that out. See if that does anything. Cool it down again. Let that cool down. All right. Sure, we're nice and clean here. All right, let's see what we got here. Let's check this again. Okay. All right, we're at 0. I think the light's blocking you a little bit. Yeah. All right, let's see what we got now. All right. Back to about 19. But you know what? I think I'm moving this a little bit too myself as I'm trying to turn it though. Let me see. I mean, it was like 28. Let's see if that makes a difference. Probably not, but hey, we got nothing to lose. Might as well give it a shot real quick. It's not going to be that hard to put it back on. It only had 2 screws. I figure I'll do something a little better. If this does work, I'll do a lot better. Let's put that plate was in there. Then I think it had these things. Yeah, it was that plate. We had all these washers. And shims, whatever you want to call them. I mean, these might have even been making it worse too. Who even knows? So there was that. Because that was where the keyway went. All right, which I dropped somewhere. Yeah. All right, I'll find it. Try to get this thing back. Let's move it over this way a little bit. All right, put this down here. This guy back here again. I mean, I guess I should even be able to see if it just jumps up and down, to be honest with you. I think this might return a little bit. Come on. Okay, so let me see. I should be able to see with this thing real quick. It feels a lot smoother, but I don't know, because it was actually pretty smooth before too. Again, it was only off a little bit. Boy. Let's see where I dropped the keyway at. Stop now. Alright, let me see if I can find this keyway. I'll bring you right back. 1 second. So it's still moving. I did get it back together again. It's still moving, but it's not as bad as it was before, and it's not shaking as bad as it was. So I'm going to see how this works out for a while until I watch some more videos and maybe see if I get a little better. But it's actually a lot better than it was. So, and notice it's not as bad now. Well, seems a lot smoother as well, guys. It doesn't seem like it's jumping as much, but well, I'll see what happens. I might try to take it apart again and see if I get into this thing again. But for now, it seems like it's a little better, and I guess I'm going to see if I can keep this for a while and see what happens. So anyway, thanks for watching. Any suggestions, anything that you think might help me, I'd love the comments, and I'd appreciate it. So thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next one. Hope everyone is safe and well.